The year was 2007. I was at university at the Australian National University, which is a misnomer because it was only in Canberra. The hard drive I was using at the time was starting to show signs that it may or may not have been slowly dying over the past week or so. Being 2007, I think it was about $100 per gigabyte. I went to the nearby computer shop at the Australian National University. So me and my friend Kevin Smith, we'll call him Kevin Smith. He wasn't that Kevin Smith, he was a different Kevin. Anyway, he was, and then therefore we went into the shop. It was a very small area, maybe like 2 meters by 5 meters. And we had a little bit of trouble finding the hard drives because there are other things like monitors and keyboards and mouses, user input device. And then a lovely young fellow came to help us. Now, his English wasn't so good. I'm pretty sure he was from China. I'm not sure 100%. Back then, I didn't have quite as much knowledge of the Chinese language as I do now, because I had a friend when I worked at the National Library and he taught me how to say, "I am a dinosaur" in Chinese. What you have to do is you have to pretend that you're a baby dinosaur and you have to say, "Sure." Now, my pronunciation is probably absolutely horrendous. I can say 我是恐龙, which is my genuine attempt at trying to say that sentence. No joking. No, look, that's what we've got shoulder pads for. He was a lovely young fellow and he came out and he said, "May I help you?" Now, he was a bit jittery. His legs were kind of shaking and he kind of just kept moving and he was a little bit frantic, you may say. And I said, "Yeah, I just want to buy a hard drive because my hard drive is showing signs that it may be dying." In his frantic kind of, shaking, weird, bizarre way, his leg is going crazy. He said, "Let me show you around." One thing to remember that was important about this shop. In the shop, there was a sort of pillar in the center, and around it was the 5 by 4 meter shop with all of the glass cabinets around the edge. This pillar was quite large. It was, wider than me, which is saying something. I digress. That's all you do, Simon. And so he took me around the pillar to the other side of the shop, and he said, so this, I won't do his accent. I've already tried speaking Chinese. He was showing us these hard drives, but they weren't really hard drives. They were actually disk drives with CDs and DVDs, if you remember those. And so he's like, yes, of course, I'll show you the hard drives. He walked around the pillar again, and now I noticed there was somebody else in the shop at that time. Someone who was ever so slightly less fidgety. And it wasn't my friend Kevin Smith. And it wasn't any other mall cop either. They were kind of walking around the pillar and kind of looking at us quite inquisitively. And I thought, that customer, they must want to know about the hard drives as well. My good friend who was helping me out, who was just a little bit fidgety, he kind of started getting a little agitated and took us around the other side of the pillar, away from this other lovely gentleman who seemed quite inquisitive. And as he was showing us this assortment of computer accessories, he suddenly, without warning, said, "Toilet, go now." And I'm like, well, that's a strange instruction. I mean, I'm pretty fine. I went to the toilet earlier. Wow, I'm getting so excited my glasses are fogging up. Could be the fever, Simon. So he left. He went out the front door of the shop. The little bell on the door went ding-ling-ling-ling, signaling his immediate leavingness. And we were left alone, standing in front of the wrong computer accessories. And then out from behind the pillar came the other wonderful man who looked rather concerned. And he wasn't quite as fidgety as the other guy. And he looked us directly in the eye and he said, "Do you know that guy? He doesn't work here." And then I asked politely if he had any hard drives. And then I bought one of the hard drives. Thank you so much for breathing. If you made it to the end of this video, you may enjoy brick walls. So soft. If you subscribe now, I'll send you a cheese basket, an imaginary cheese basket, direct to your post box. I'm still recovering from the disease, but remember, be kind, be curious, and stay awesome. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, tell all of your friends that you love them.